Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Podcast Unlock, the world's #1 Xbox podcast. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. To my left, Mitch Dyer.
Good day.
To his left, the shark, Sean Finnegan.
Hello, everyone.
Rounding it out, coming full circle, clockwise around the table, Destin Legary.
Hi, everybody.
Did you like that pregnant pause there while I just
I was
saved you
like-
for last?
I was like,
I was leaving you hanging.
There he is.
It's episode 221 for November 18th, 2015. We did it, guys. All the games came out.
Yeah, we're free.
We did it.
Nothing
Not
is
quite, not quite.
nothing is left.
Oh, wait, except Rainbow Six Siege and Just Cause 3.
Oh, boy.
But it's happening. The big week is here. The last 2 weeks, of course, we've had Rise of the Tomb Raider, Fallout 4, and now Mitch Dyer, reviewer of Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes, sir.
You like the game a good bit. Final scored review is up on IGN. It's an 8.0. We've all been playing the game to some extent. I want to play some more because I will say that the one thing I love a lot about that game, but boy, I hate any shooter that basically rewards people for playing more by making them better than me at level 1.
Yeah, at this
you have
point-
to unlock guns.
At this point in my life, I
jetpacks.
am so I think it's weird to watch developers try to adopt free-to-play sensibilities into their retail games, like having unlockable heroes and having this progression system and these whatever economies they have that are increasingly reflective of different free-to-play games. But then the game is $60, but the content is locked. And for me, I'm to the point now where I'm like, if I pay $60, I just want the stuff.
Yeah, I just want to and clearly, my best guess would be that it was built in because there is no single player campaign.
Yes.
They needed to build
You need some
sort
progression.
something in there. But what I wanted to talk about was, and I have an editorial going up about this tomorrow,
Yeah.
actually, about
timing.
the sort of quiet death of proper narrative-driven campaigns and first-person shooters. But Mitch, wanted to talk about something that you were bringing up, and is that there are single player things that you can do in Star Wars Battlefront. Is Battlefront a good single player game?
No, it's really not. And I say this as someone who, obviously, if there was a campaign, I'd play it and I'd probably like it because Star Wars, yay, and DICE does really great shooter stuff. The campaign's maybe not their best specialty, but I'd still be excited to play it. Battlefront not having one means they focused entirely on this gigantic suite of multiplayer modes and maps and whatever else they're coming up with in the future. So Battlefront is focused in that way. I think it's not necessarily lacking in that way that people expected it to be with no campaign. So I don't think it needs a campaign. That said, I feel like DICE sort of thought it did because you see the amount of content in that game that allows people to try different weird things or play alone and stuff like that. And it seems like they wanted to fill the gap where players thought the campaign should be with stuff they could do instead. And that stuff is not, I think on its own, a lot of it's really good. But
So what are these
as a
these
single player mode,
solo activities that
so
are
there's
built into
the battles, and that is more like the original Battlefront, where you can jump in alone and you can play against an enemy team of AI, and you can get pickups, and it's sort of like kill confirm, where you get kills and you just grab a token, and that counts toward your team's score. It's good. It's a fun mode. It's very, very simple. It's not why you would play Battlefront, but it's there if you want to play offline. The survival stuff is really good. There's 4 maps, one on each planet, where it's 15 waves of dudes, each one getting increasingly difficult.
So horde mode.
Yeah, and it's really good on hard mode and higher. It's super tough. It's really challenging. It puts your skills to the test in a really interesting way. Again, really good. Not satisfactorily replacing a campaign.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's the stuff that's there is fun. And I think it's in the spirit of Star Wars, and it's in the spirit of what Battlefront does well. But if you're playing this under the expectation, like, I just want to play this alone, I don't want to play 40-player multiplayer, this is not the game for you.
Okay.
This is very much a 40-player multiplayer game.
I haven't tried it, but does that mode in particular do anything like environmental storytelling? Some of these games where they are a little bit more multiplayer focused try to tell the story not in a traditional narrative
Like
way, but by
Rainfall, for example.
Yeah, but by exploring the world and by doing the things you do, you actually find things that kind of help tell the story. Does
A little
that
bit,
have
but
that
it's
in there?
there's no arc, there's no anything of a grand scale. It's a lot of little stuff and a lot of fan servicey stuff. Like if you're on the Rebel Depot Tatooine map, it's this like Mos Eisley looking hangar where the Millennium Falcon is hanging out, and you can jump onto it and you can fight around it. And Luke's land speeder's in the corner, and there's X-wings in the hangars, and on the outskirts you can see like wreckage, and some of it looks like pod racers, and
Cool.
it's stuff like that you're like, oh, that's cool. Like there's Star Wars, cool.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're seeing like the remnants of a big Jawa
Right.
execution or weird messed up stuff like that, right? Like you're not seeing
you're not like
Tuskens
getting
taking
hints
stuff out.
at maybe events that might have happened around that weren't already in the movies.
There's bits and pieces of that, like in the Hoth map is not actually Echo Base; it's Outpost Beta, so it's a different part of the Rebellion's bases on Hoth. So you get to see, oh, over there is another part of Hoth that I recognize, and then there's the shield generator that's been blown up. So you get to see like, oh, this is after the Empire Strikes Back. This is after most of the like Luke is gone, Han is gone, the Millennium Falcon's not here. They've taken off. But Hoth's battle didn't end there, so this is like the continuation of that in some sense.
So we've talked in the past about Titanfall, Titanfall in particular, where and I guess Evolve too. So those are the kind of the two that have come up where we've said where we know that sequels for those are coming, even if they're not super officially formally announced. And we've speculated in this show that those are going to be the games. That, because what shipped was sort of the minimum, we say before, the MVP, minimum viable product.
Yep.
And that, in Evolve 2, Titanfall 2, are those going to have full, proper single-player campaigns and sort of flesh things out? Mitch, do you see, after, what you've seen of, which is everything in Battlefront, and what we know about it, which is that development on Battlefront started the day that EA got the license, which was 2.5 years ago. So they had to get a game out for this, which is the Force Awakens is launching. Do you think in 2 years from now we will get a Battlefront 2 that has a single player campaign, that has space battles, etc.?
I've been saying on the show for a long time, I don't think Battlefront 2 is ever going to happen. I think that this will be a long-standing platform. You'll get a Rogue One expansion, you'll get an Episode 8 expansion, you'll get the Han Solo movie, stuff that tie into the movies, maybe a Rebel set. No, totally, no. I'm totally backing off. Like, I am back on the Ryan McCaffrey line of thinking of, like, I think what we're going to see is Battlefront, Battlefield, Battlefront, Battlefield, Battlefront, Battlefield. Because
See that?
Star Wars is like, yeah, I like it. Star Wars is too big for them not to do as often as possible, as long as they can do it right. And with Battlefront, I feel like they got it right. A lot of people are feeling a little bit let down because of the lack of content, which I think is crazy because the game is huge. But yeah, I feel like Battlefront 2 is a thing that will absolutely have campaigns. It will absolutely incorporate a lot of the stuff that fans wanted, like space battles, even if it's just like a fighter squadron thing. And I think you might see that in the expansion. There might be like, oh, one of the new maps is like outside Death Star 2, and it is like the assault, and it's just air combat, but it's in space. I really, really disliked Battlefront 2 space combat. It just did not work for what they were doing.
I really hope that there's 40 players is a lot. I really want to be able to have space battles in space and then be able to come down in atmosphere to the other 20 players fighting on the ground.
That's the dream.
That would be really cool.
Especially like DICE is so good, and Battlefront has this, and Bad Company had it as well. Bad Company 2 introduced Rush, and we've seen that be implemented in Battlefield 4, and Supremacy is sort of the larger version of that, where both teams are doing the same thing. It's kind of like pushing deeper and deeper into their bases. What would be really great is if it's like destroy the rebel transport and then destroy their base on the surface. So like start in space, take out the transport, get on the ground.
So good.
I'm feeling it.
It's going to be good. So Battlefront is the hot topic of the week, but also the Game Awards are coming up. It's that time of year. It's going to be early December again. Jeff Keighley putting on what has been a very up and down show over the years, but is now last year really found itself. Yeah, really found its voice. It was a fantastic show last year. We will be carrying it live on IGN. Tune in for that. So mark your calendars. Thursday, December 3rd, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. We'll be bringing it to you live, as well as, of course, posting all the relevant news and content that comes out of there. I know I'll be on Twitter, sort of commenting throughout it, reacting to what happens.
I will be too, because I'm going to be doing this one from home. I'll be on vacation at this point, so I'm not working this one.
Nice.
I'm out of town. I'm going to miss PSX, so I'm just going to be soaking it in like everyone else.
It's nice to support these shows as someone who's like a big apologist for the Academy Awards. Like, it's nice for gamers to have something to like watch and kind of get around and kind of celebrate the big games and big developers of the year. So even if it hasn't been perfect in past years, I think it's important that people watch it.
I agree.
I have a lot of confidence in Keighley. He seems to really care about the show that he's presenting and how it's presented.
I agree.
You know, how to integrate marketing properly. You know, and I think the only thing that was a little weird last year was the comedians, and I think he heard that And
I think was last year Joel McHale.
No, that was the year. That was the bad year.
That was
the year
really
before.
bad year.
I was going to say, I think
though,
Jeff Keighley felt it right then.
Oh yeah. But still, I believe in that product.
Man,
and he definitely does.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Like I hope that in the future, like you can take an Academy approach where it's like hosted by different people, or like a Golden Globes thing where you have a consistent host, and like you could very easily marry the idea of like a comedian and someone who plays games a lot with someone like Kumail Nanjiani, who does a video game podcast that's amazing with the Indoor Kids,
who's also a very funny guy.
Super funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in Silicon Valley. Like, you can find really great people like that to be representatives and like mix that celebrity factor with people who aren't just pandering and awful and reading a teleprompter.
Yeah.
Plus, gaming's part of the mainstream now. Like, the more, like, it's better for gaming as a whole if more eyes are on it.
Absolutely.
For people who are not even in gaming. So, celebrity hosts, people who have name recognition beyond the gaming space, but are also knowledgeable and like veterans of the industry. That's a good thing.
And it'll be interesting to see if we get a lot of Xbox related announcements this year. We kind of didn't last year, but you've got to figure there won't be much Sony stuff there because they've got PSX at the same time, and, virtually the same time, and they just came off of they've just come off of the Paris Games Week.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft, they've been quiet. They had a big, awesome presence, fantastic showing at Gamescom in August, but nothing since. So we shall see.
Where's Crackdown?
I got to play that. It was phenomenal.
We get it, Destin.
There's a video of me playing it on IGN.com that you can watch.
Will we see? Will Sea of Thieves make its first appearance in C3? There's a lot of potential. Recore has been quiet since it's an E3 announced.
I feel like the internet's always clamoring for another Quantum Break thing, trailer.
I am.
Gameplay vid, something.
Yeah, definitely. That's coming up. April.
Yeah.
It's on my calendar for April.
Far out now.
Can't wait. And then the other big thing, since we talked about it a little last week, but now that it's out, everybody's got it. The new Xbox One experience, the new dashboard, Windows 10 on your Xbox.
Love it.
What are you guys thinking of it, Sean?
So good. So good. It took me a little bit of time to wrap my head around just like where things had gone to.
Of course, yeah.
But it turns out all of the main functionality is just right there to the left on that little sidebar tab thing.
Yeah, you really like the old one, so
yeah, it's
I'm really
like
interested to hear your
no
thoughts.
matter where you are on your dash, like you could just always move to the left and it's right there.
Guide
Party,
button,
friends, notifications, all that stuff's right there. Also,
still
yeah, if
really
you're in a
getting
game,
used to
you
it.
can. Yeah, I mean
like that thing in particular where I'm so used to going to my dashboard and then making certain motions with the thumbsticks, and now it's like the left wheel pops out and then I move it away and I'm like, no, come back, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it took like I said,
Growing
it took me
pains.
a little bit of time to
Yeah.
get used to it too, but now that I am used to it, it feels much more natural and intuitive, and it actually impedes the game and sort of app experience less. That's what I like about it, is like, even if you're in-app or in-game, you can swipe left or double tap the home button, and it's right there. Whereas before, like, I had to jump out of the game, go back to the dash, tab
Well, I mean, you
over
have
and
to
stuff.
double tap if you're in an app.
Yeah.
If
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
if
like-
you're in an app, you have
yeah.
to double tap.
Yeah, but before it had to bring you out of the app, and you'd have to,
Yes.
like, if you wanted to go to your friends list, you'd have to right bumper over to the next community tab
Right.
and then click into your friends,
Correct.
and it was like, these are all things that are now you can avoid that.
Yeah, they've
just by-
reduced the number of clicks
Yeah.
by a lot.
It's much
in
cleaner
everything.
too. I also love the notifications. Like, I don't know if you guys had this issue, but when notifications would pop up, they'd be kind of framey and like a little. They're just not. They were not very smooth at all. And now the animation's way smoother, and it pops up real quick. And then I look at it, and it's gone, and it's just like
I never had
much
that problem.
less.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine still runs a little laggy. I have
Really?
a lot of profiles on my work console. And
Oh,
I
that
think,
could
I
be
think
why.
that's why.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
It's
through and
remembering
kind of.
too much.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go through and delete everybody. Also, there's
You
a
should.
little bug with my icon where like it shows Bobby's icon instead of mine. It's really strange. Anyway, but besides that, it's a great experience. I love using it at home, and I need to do some little tweaks on my work console.
Yeah, it's just fantastic to see. And on a related note, I had waited to finish my review of the Xbox One Elite console with the SSD
dash.
hybrid, the hybrid drive in it, until the new dash came out. So look
Yeah.
for that very, very shortly on IGN. It's actually done and ready. I just have to get it signed off on.
How is the new dash with the hard drive? Is it smooth?
I mean, the point I make in my review is that spoiler is that the new dashboard is so efficient and so quick that it feels I don't really notice any significant, any notable speed gains from the hybrid drive, because I think that something that you might have noticed on the old bloated Metro OS dash is they've cut all the fat out of the new OS, so that you can't. There's not really any big performance gain that I can tell. But there are definitely some other things I have to say about that Elite console and the sort of value proposition it offers.
Stay tuned for the full review.
Yes, stay tuned for that soon. Still more to cover here before we get to the news. I'm almost done with Tomb Raider. Mitch, I know you have finished. You finished it. You powered through it in the pre-release, the review process when we got a few copies.
Sunk about 20 hours into it in about 48 hours.
Nice. That's impressive.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm almost sure I'm right near the end. I won't say where or why for risk of any potential spoilers for anybody, but just it's so good.
Game is incredible.
It's so good. I think we gave the original Tomb Raider reboot from 2 years ago a low 9, I think, if I remember.
Which
right.
I honestly think was about 2 points too high.
I wouldn't quite, but yeah,
I thought the game was good and nothing more, so I was like kind of down on Rise. When I was like, it's like another Tomb Raider. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but this was like primo.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a similar boat. I wouldn't have quite gone as high as our reviewer did on the reboot, but this one. So that's the thing. I think I kind of came into this one thinking, oh, all right, it's going to be more of that, and that's going to be good.
Yeah.
But boy, the more you get into that game, there's just so much to love about it. It's a very no one part of it. I think we might have been talking about this last week, or maybe this was an office chat. I can't keep track anymore. But
you were starting to play last week. You weren't this far though.
Yeah, I don't think any one single aspect of that game is amazing, but I think everything it does, it blends together in a way that is truly the greater than the sum of its parts cliche, and it just comes together in a phenomenal way.
I think there's a lot of stuff about that game. Like, I think it looks incredible.
It definitely looks great.
Camilla Ludington's
the geothermal valley when you get to there,
so good,
beautiful.
Yeah, Camilla Ludington's performance is excellent.
Yep.
I think the tombs, even though I don't think there's enough of them, the puzzle design is excellent.
Yes.
I'm
on the last one right now, the 9th. I've done all the first 8.
Like, and 9th chronologically?
I'm on, I don't know. I mean, I've done I'm on the last one that you can get.
Oh, okay, cool. So that was the one that I was sitting there throwing my headphones around at my desk that I could not solve for 2 hours.
Because I saved last night. I saved at the campfire. Like, I haven't started it yet.
I want to know how long it takes you to solve this.
Oh, no.
Good.
Oh, my goodness.
I watch your suffering now.
But the point, the next time that I do get the chance to interview Phil Spencer, I do want to genuinely ask him about the release date. And if... I don't know if they would admit if the game has underperformed their expectations, but because the chatter is that not a lot of people are paying attention to the game because of Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't know. That's so... It is very anecdotal.
Fallout, Star Wars, Call of Duty, all the other games.
I definitely want to ask him about it and see what he'll say. But, there was... Mitch, I think you saw there was again another anecdotal thing of UK sales numbers for last week, and Fallout did 460-something thousand on Xbox in the UK.
Just in the UK, that's a lot.
But it did like Tomb Raider did 60,000 on X. So that's, I mean, again, that's not nearly the whole picture, but I really do hope that people give the game a chance and
Me too.
And get to it.
I very much want to know what that game sold because it deserves more.
I completely agree.
No matter what it sold, it deserves more.
Totally.
Sean Finnegan, you deserve the floor right now. I know you had there was a comment. There's a segment on last week's show you wanted to address real quick.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. A lot of this will probably go over most of our viewers and listeners' heads, so if you're one of those people, just go ahead and ignore me. But for the people who it didn't fly over their heads, I actually wanted to take a moment to apologize to all of you guys. On this very show last week, I made a comment where I implied that it wasn't as easy to capture footage on PC as it was on consoles. And a lot of people found that at worst deliberately misleading and at best willfully ignorant of the current landscape of games. I wanted to apologize because neither of those things were my intention. Obviously, you guys know, and it's part of my job here at IGN to capture PC footage. A lot of the games
you set me up every day.
Yeah, a lot of the games we preview here at home and abroad are done on PC, and a lot of that is done through tools like OBS and Fraps and Shadowplay. These are things that we use daily. So that was never my intention. But I now recognize that the way I phrased that anecdote to tell the story and try and illustrate the point was definitely confusing, and I should have been better about walking it back. And one of these things that I've kind of gotten accustomed to being video here is that I'm not held to the same editorial standards as these experts here. But being at this table and being at, across from you guys and on camera for IGN, I realized that is definitely not the case. And so I shouldn't have let it slide, and I wanted to apologize for that, because I definitely should have just taken the one extra second to correct myself, acknowledge Destin, and make sure that I was not, that the implication which was misinterpreted was not to be misinterpreted. So if you were one of those people who found my comment to be offensive or misleading or misinformed or stupid, I am totally sorry about that, and that was never my intention. So hopefully we can all just kind of move on, and thank you to the thousands of people who let me know about the comment on Twitter, but hopefully we can kind of just get back to talking about all the things that we love. So thank you for the opportunity,
Absolutely.
Ryan.
I love having you on the show.
Sorry.
We'll continue to have you here, and we'll be right back with the news. All right, welcome to the news. I want to thank Will Mitchell one more time for making that new bumper for me after I idiotically lost the last one, the last set we had. It's not this good time for a refresh anyway. It's been a while.
Way to go, Ryan.
You can check out Will's music at willsmusic.com. What a great URL he managed to snag for himself there. Will Mitchell, you're a gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate your efforts. Let's talk a little Deus Ex, gentlemen. Last we heard, College Duke's still in line because it was going to come out 4 days early, but then they canceled that dumb pre-order campaign that we and the rest of the internet railed about. Yeah, good thing, Mitch. Why is that?
Because Deus Ex just got delayed 6 months.
6 months.
Which means one of two things. This is either a significant delay to give it the polish it needs to be an incredible game.
Yeah.
Because it's not where it needs to be right now. Or two, they need to fill a hole in the quarter where something once was.
Right.
Like maybe Final Fantasy 15.
You're thinking like a publishing executive right now. Yeah. I like that.
And I think that a lot of people were telling me that they don't think that the Japanese and Western titles sort of talk that way. Like they don't need to worry about who's coming out when.
People like Andrew Goldfarb.
Classic Goldfarb.
Is that a Goldfarb thing? He doesn't think that, or he thinks that?
He thought it didn't matter. He thought like Square Japan will do what it wants regardless of what the Western titles are doing.
Which is a horrible way to run a business.
Exactly. And Square, which is a company that is like it could definitely be doing better. It could definitely be selling more copies of these games, especially with something like Just Cause coming out so late. And
you remember, this is a company that when the aforementioned Tomb Raider reboot came out and sold like a nice 3 or 4 million copies, they were like,
not enough.
We had it penciled in for like 5, so
not
it
good
kind
enough.
of underperformed. Like, what?
Yeah,
Thief, great.
Thief underperformed. Lightning Returns underperformed.
Thief was rough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't want that anymore. Like they don't want a rough game coming out and doing okay. They want amazing games coming out and doing awesome, like Tomb Raider, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I think that what this means is that they're gonna. I think it's more of a business decision than a quality thing. But I think quality will obviously benefit from them
quote,
filling up the void
Destin,
of something.
real quick, let me just read you the quote from David N. Fossey, the Eidos Montreal studio head there, the developer of the game. Says, quote, "We're confident and proud of the game so far. However, as we are now playing through the game in full, we can see that it will require more time in post-production for tuning, iterations, and refinement to meet our high standards. In order to achieve this, we need to move the release date of the game to August 23rd, 2016.
Yeah. I mean, good on them for delaying it.
Yes.
One note about, you mentioned Tomb Raider. I honestly, it saddens me to say this, but I think that game's going to do fantastic next year when it's on all platforms, and they can all do a big marketing push, and hopefully there's less competition in that window next year.
I was talking about this on Beyond. I think that the way it's going to work out is that Xbox One launch will be that's happening now. They'll get whatever sales they get. They'll get a nice little bump from PC.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 4 version will come out, and then during that time, they'll launch the PS4 version will be the same as the Xbox One re-release, which would be like the Game of the Year style edition with everything in it, and then I think they'll do a Season 2 pass.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, it's going to do great for that game.
Hope that season Pass number 2 has tombs and things I want in it.
Yep.
Bringing it back to
but-
Deus Ex, they have a really good opportunity here with this property, and I'm glad they're delaying it to August. That's a really good window. It's before the holiday rush. It's going to be a
Far
great
Cry without worrying about another open world game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great. I don't want to call it filler because that seems like it
Not at all.
takes away from it. It's going to be a fantastic title to come out in August without anything to compete
It's an
against.
appetizer for the higher profile.
For the holiday madness.
It's the equivalent of The Witcher this year, where it's like this big, awesome open world game right before the rush.
Exactly.
It's also good timing because right after the summer is when you have like all this hype around games, but nothing really to play, right?
True.
Because no one.
You're excited to play it and you want
just
something
saw
else to play, and you're like,
you just
Deus
saw
Ex is
Gamescom, and you're like,
perfect.
oh, all these games are coming. I want to play games. Like, what is there out there? Whoa, there's this game. You know, like it's a good time to release it for sure.
Uncharted's a summer game too now, right?
Uncharted's
happen in
early
May?
next year.
Uncharted
4?
is March.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, I thought it was later.
No, you know what is summer though? Not an Xbox game, sadly, at least at this stage in time. No Man's Sky. Could be playing that all summer and then roll into Deus Ex in August.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this. I could not be less upset about this because you remember we were talking on the show about how and we predicted that somebody would move, and in fact now 2 of them have moved. On February 23rd, we were due to have all on the same exact day Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and Far Cry Primal.
Was it originally March?
No.
Was that the window? What was it originally?
Which one?
Same day, February 23rd.
Same day,
February
February
23rd.
23rd.
Okay.
All 3 of those were going to come out on the same day. Now 2 of those have moved off. And so
I maintain that Far Cry is getting delayed.
I will bet you In-N-Out lunch right now that it comes out on the day that they said it was coming out.
Really?
Boom.
Deal made.
It's happened.
So I
Shake
hope
is
it
on
does because I want a Far Cry game sooner. I love that Ubisoft came out with the confidence to be like, boom, new Far Cry game coming out in 4 months. And we're like, whoa, cool, awesome.
Yeah. Believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's like
Have
that.
we seen gameplay or was that all CGI?
No, that was
We have not.
That was not a.
It'll be
an
at
in-game
PSX.
I'm with Mitch.
It's playable at PSX, so that'll be a big tell when we play it at PSX.
But we'll see. So yeah, February was going to be the new November with all these games coming out. Now we still have a nice February. February's still going to be great. We got Firewatch, again, sadly not coming to Xbox right away that we know of. XCOM 2 is a PC game and not super my cup of tea, but definitely a notable release.
Ooh, Oxenfree is coming in January.
Yeah, and so is The Witness. But then Far Cry Primal and yeah, those are the big ones. So February's still a nice month.
PVZ is next year, right?
That's true.
So early next
Is
year.
that February or March?
can't
It's one of the
remember.
two. In any case, it's just now at least I'm more than happy to have these spread out. I mean, the more
Yes.
if I think I say this all the time on the show, and I can never remember who to attribute the quote to. I think it's someone from Bungie said the most important game part of the game is of developing a game is the last 5%.
Yeah.
Is that polish time that can turn a game from a good game to a great game or a great game to a ridiculous
Just give that
all-time
one
classic
Jamie
game.
Griesemer too.
I think, well, he's the 30 seconds of fun guy.
Exactly.
So yeah, we can go ahead and give that to him as well. By the way,
Someone
his,
at
new,
Bungie's
his new
crying.
studio, he
That
started
was my quote.
Yeah.
he started a new studio with the great Marty O'Donnell,
Yep.
the legend, Highwire Games. I think we might see something from them get announced pretty soon because they've been lying in wait for a while. They announced their studio. Anyway.
I thought you were going to go with the Shigeru Miyamoto quote, which is that I'm paraphrasing here, but what is it? A delayed game is eventually good, where a broken
Like
game,
a
is,
broken
always
game
bad.
is always bad.
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
Something to that effect.
Google the actual quote because
Yeah.
it's much more powerful.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
No, much more
But
articulate than any of us.
Yeah, but the point is abundantly clear in that is like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's something that actual like people outside of the industry have a problem with, but every day people here are complaining that there's too much to play. Like it's very difficult to kind of figure out how you're going to spend your time and on which games. And some of that may be because like we have access to games that some people don't have, like in terms of just our jobs. Like so maybe regular consumers don't feel that. But I think even if you're a consumer, like the game's still going to come out. It's not like it's canceled. Now you just have an extra 6 months to play other things that you were already probably going to be playing at the time.
And for me, Deus Ex is a special game. There really isn't anything like it. There never has been. The first game, of course, is in my top probably 5. Definitely 10, but probably 5 ever.
The first game.
The original War Inspector game.
Based on History of Awesome, which we were on the episode for that game year. What was it?
2001.
Yeah.
Wait. I don't know. Whatever year
I would
it
have
was.
thought it was your top one
2000.
game, top 2, top 3 even, for you.
It's right up there.
No,
but,
there's too many Halos and Dooms in there for Ryan.
Doom for sure.
Which of the Halos is in your top 3 though? Just has
Two.
Two, right? Not
2.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The multiplayer did it.
Yes.
I think.
Anyway.
And now that I think about it, I think like the closest thing, like I think my first experience that I would say is like Deus Ex, especially it's more like Human Revolution. The Darkness on Xbox 360 had like a lot of elements like Human Revolution has, right? Like you're in a city, you're exploring, you're talking to people. Obviously,
still an
very
action
different games.
game.
Yeah, of course, but it had pieces of that
Yeah.
Human Revolution then were like it blew it all up again.
Yeah, I mean, so my point is Deus Ex is a special thing that doesn't come around very often, and Human Revolution against unbelievable odds turned out to be a great game. Like, hey, we're going to reboot Deus Ex. That's a terrible idea. You're fired. Don't try that because it's going to end badly. They actually pulled it off. It's fantastic. So for Mankind Divided to get delayed 6 months for polish, yes, go ahead.
Also,
no problem.
Pretty sure Human Revolution got delayed like 4 times.
Probably.
Plus, there's got to be like something to be
On
said
Wii.
about like imagine
Yeah.
if like you didn't delay. Imagine if you just had a great game ruined by polishing issues.
Oh,
like,
it would-
it seems
if you
like
were-
that would be the worst.
If
Like
you were a
Fallout.
developer, it would probably haunt you for your career. Like
we
man,
could have
were
just spent a little bit more time.
If we'd have had
like,
3 more months.
Yeah,
I think a lot of developers would just infinitely delay because there's always something they want to work on.
that is
but
another
feature creep.
Another
Yeah.
famous developer quote. Something like, "You never finish a game, you just ship it." Something like that. I forget what the exact
Close
quote
enough.
is. Or who
Vague
said it.
quotes by Sean Finnegan.
If you Google that one, you'll
segment.
probably find who actually said it.
The
And it will
actual
probably
proper
also be more powerful
Yeah.
and poignant. But I mean, again, it's abundantly clear what he meant by that, or she meant. But yeah, I mean, to have a great game ruined by just like minor bugs or like texture things like that, that would suck for a developer. So why not take the time?
Let's talk about
Oh.
Destin.
With Deus Ex out of February, and we're thinking that Far Cry is going to be out of February. I hope too many games don't fall out of that month.
That's the guy I love. Right
Better
there.
delivery, still a terrible joke.
I had another one. Man, I hope February doesn't become a wasteland.
The first one was better. I'm
Okay,
glad you
good.
went with
I'm
that.
glad I-
Yeah,
glad I
let's
went with
talk
the
about
follow-up.
something that is
February
out.
used to be a commonwealth of releases.
God.
You guys are great. They'll be here all week. Be sure to tip your servers. So
I hate
Fallout
myself.
4, unexpectedly, is off to a fantastic start on the sales
Wow.
front. It was announced officially by Bethesda that they have shipped 12 million copies of the game, which means they've shipped them to the stores. Those are not sold through to consumers. However, if they've shipped that many, my educated guess is that probably means they've sold at least half of those.
That's what you said last week.
so
yeah.
far. And now we have another report. This is not an official Bethesda report.
The
so take it
report's
with
from
it.
Super Data Research via GameIndustry.biz.
Okay, so there's some reputableness
Yeah. Yeah.
behind that. 1.87 million digital copies in 3 days, which is
That's a
nothing
lot.
to sneeze at
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
With most of those on Steam, interestingly enough.
How many days was that? 3.
3.
3 days.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Not 7. This just 3.
Yeah.
So that is quite impressive. I maintain my prediction that for the November NPD sales figures, Call of Duty will be number 1, Fallout will be number 2, Battlefront will be number 3, and the reason for that is, first of all, Call of Duty's on more platforms, and it launched at the very beginning of the month.
that's
Not
true.
Not more than Fallout. Oh, you're thinking last gen.
Yes,
That's right. Okay.
And then
That might
Fallout
do it.
came later on fewer platforms, and Battlefront a week after that. But
On the fewest, I think.
I maintain my prediction. I'm gonna. This is out on a limb a little bit, but I think Battlefront will be the number 1 selling game in December because they'll all be out
Christmas
for all
time.
31 days of the month. There'll be even playing field there. And you've got that Force Awakens,
Yeah.
not only the Star
It's gonna get a
Wars
big
itself,
spike.
but that Force Awakens push, man. People are going to see the movie and they're going to get fired up and they're going to get the game. They're going to get it for the
I
holidays.
think that JQ DLC on the 1st or the 8th, like it's
The 8th.
Pre-orders get it on the 1st. It's available to
Yeah.
everyone on the 8th. that I think is a brilliant move that is going to get more people excited to buy it.
This is 100% my opinion and a little bit of my personal bias in there, but I think Fallout is going to edge out Call of Duty.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like in total sales?
Not in total sales, but
Wait, in November?
In November.
In November, despite the fact that there's no 360 or PlayStation 3 version.
Yeah.
That would be
like
really
I said,
impressive.
Like I said, a guess and a little personal bias, just because I love Fallout so much, and everybody's talking about it.
But that would mean that like
how many articles have you seen?
Everybody in the IGN hardcore world.
On my feed, I see way less mention of Call of Duty. On my friends list on Facebook, the casual gamer audience,
even
no one's
anecdotally on
talking
Reddit,
about it.
it's like
all of these things
Reddit
are
posts
extensions
are-
of your world. Is the thing.
They are, but my world also encompasses a lot of different people.
We all
from
live in
all
Destin's
over,
world.
all
Come
over the gaming, world.
A bold statement, I would say. Call of Duty's huge.
Call of Duty is huge, and I know that it does really well sales-wise. I just
Yeah.
have a good feeling about Fallout
Like
this
that's
year.
my thing. Is like, okay, Call of Duty. Each Call of Duty game probably sells between all of its platforms. What, like 10 million?
probably.
Oh, more
10
than
to
that.
12 million.
I mean, well,
that
Black
was
Ops.
a conservative guess.
Black
right there.
Ops 1 did 21 million or something. Like that's the
Jeez.
high watermark, I think. And
Yeah.
Lifetime, right?
Yeah, lifetime, not right out of the gate, but.
If it's defeated, it will be because of those last-gen copies of the game and people that just don't know any better because it is such an inferior product to the next-gen version of Call of
campaign
Duty.
for one.
Yeah, it's really kind of bad, a little gross.
If you haven't seen the graphics comparison for Black Ops 3
it's
on
really
IGN,
good.
please go watch it. It's so good. There's
It's
so
not
many,
editorialized at all. It's literally just
No.
footage of each one, the same scenes from
Last
each
gen.
version
There's
of the
some,
game.
some really good stuff of like panning around at like an amazing supercomputer high-tech space
Yeah.
room, and then on the 360 version it's like a laundromat.
By the way, I'm even. I know we talked about this a little bit, but I'm actually now. The more I think about it, the more I am convinced that the campaign is going to go away forever in Call of Duty because not only was it was cut from the old gen versions because they said, oh, the way it's built for co-op, we can't do that on the old machines. And that may be true. I'm not saying they're lying, but that may not necessarily be the only reason.
It may be one of those two birds with one stone type
the
things.
reason that I think, if I think back to last year with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, huge deal was made about the campaign, about Kevin Spacey being in it. You notice this year, Black Ops 3 is the biggest Call of Duty sub-franchise. Not a word was ever said. Forget about the last gen versions.
Of the campaign.
Nothing was ever said. There was no promotion, no marketing, no hype, no famous actors, nothing about the campaign.
Which Black Ops 1 and 2 had.
Sam Worthington was voiced the protagonist in Black Ops 1.
of Avatar fame.
Yes.
This year is the off year, though, because last year was Kevin Spacey, right?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so this year is the other company, and maybe next year we'll
this
get a
year
big
was
actor.
Treyarch, who is they're
They're
the
top
A-team.
dog at
They get all the
now.
money. I mean, they all get all the money, but they have Treyarch has full unlimited resources as far as.
It'd be really interesting to see if you're correct.
So-
and they do ditch the big actor name.
I'm not saying it's going to happen next year. I think it's possible it's as soon as next year, but I think because next year is Infinity Ward. We don't know what they're going to do. Ghosts was a critical disaster. It's still sold okay, but it is, I think, objectively the worst Call of Duty game in a long time. It's not.
Maybe ever.
I still liked it. I didn't think it was that bad.
So again,
yeah.
the worst Call of Duty game. I'm not calling it. I think the campaign is a train wreck.
I understand why people don't like Call of Duty. But at its core, it has a great shooter mechanic, and
Yep, of
that's why
course.
they keep doing
It's
them
the
every
best
year.
feeling shooter ever made.
Yeah.
I prefer
But anyway,
Battlefield
disagree.
in almost every way, but man, I feel
It
like
feels good, like
Counter-Strike.
good to great,
Touche.
though,
But-
right?
But
Speaking of PC games,
so the thing is,
Counter-Strike,
next year is Infinity Ward's year. I don't think they're going to do Ghosts 2.
No, no way.
So will they go back to Modern Warfare and do a Modern Warfare 4? Will they go somewhere else? So if they do something new, that's another sort of, I don't mean this to sound like bad, but they're a quote unquote excuse to not have a campaign. Like our new vision is, this Call of Duty as an esport with their whole esport thing. So I'm telling you, it could happen. It might happen next year. It
I don't
might
think it will.
happen later. But I think the end of Call of Duty's campaigns.
Keep in mind
are coming.
that in the wake of all the Naughty Dog fallout, that Infinity Ward picked up a writer from Naughty Dog named Taylor Kurosaki. So I think that sort of indicates to me that they have an interesting campaign.
Okay,
at least for the short term.
That's a great observation.
They're keeping campaign. You know they sell 10 million units, and they are definitely tracking how many people play the campaign, and they know the demographic that only plays for campaign.
All of these publishers and developers can data mine their own games to the point where they know exactly how many minutes people are playing each mission and what they need to design for. And I think most people are aware that they know, and they're certainly aware that, like, 98% of the time spent overall in their games, it happens in the multiplayer for their audience. So it's like it becomes increasingly difficult to objectively sort of support the idea that time and resources should be spent and money should be spent developing what 2% of the people spend their time playing. Which is unfortunate because, like, I think all of us were blown away by Modern Warfare's first campaign and Modern Warfare 2's campaign.
It's legendary.
Yeah, I mean, those are, I would say, while the multiplayer for those games was incredible and I spent many, many, many hours playing them, without the campaign, I'm not sure I wouldn't have wanted to give it that chance, you know?
And that's the reason that Titanfall's lack of a single-player campaign hurt me so much is because Titanfall was made by the same core people that made that Call of Duty 4 campaign that was so good. So I just wanted them to give me a Titanfall campaign.
Man, I still remember I was like at my dumb job, like where I just read video game
packing
magazines.
peanuts job?
Not peanuts, styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
The styrofoam peanuts.
You packed styrofoam peanuts?
I made styrofoam peanuts.
That's awesome.
Sean.
Wow.
You made them?
Yeah.
That's
I had like the raw materials, I heated them up, they became
That's
a
a
thing.
great job.
It's very
I'm
boring.
sorry.
Yeah.
I once sold doors door to door. That's not nearly as cool.
Whoa!
Is that a real thing?
Knock, knock, this thing sucks.
When I was 15 years old, that was my first job.
Did you, if you came to a house that didn't have a front door, were you extra stoked?
Were you like, oh, I got
it was
this
an
one.
amazing time in my life.
we are going off topic right now.
Yeah.
What did you do when you walked up to a house that had like a pristine,
You're
stunning
a
door?
door-to-door door salesman.
Yeah.
Say that with me. Door-to-door door salesman.
That
That's
was
incredible.
That was exactly what I did. That was my first job when I was 15-year-old. You know when you like, if you ever do like magazine drives when you were a kid?
Of
I don't know
course.
if people
Yeah,
know.
of course.
I don't even know if kids
I don't
nowadays
think they
know
do that
that
anymore.
exists. But
What's
back in
on
the
an
day,
iPad?
back in the
got iBooks on
it's
it.
probably iPads or digital. Like you walk around with a
E-zines.
catalog
Wasn't
now.
there
where
a
you sell
Chappelle Show
iPhones
bit
and
about
stuff.
that?
What
where
about
I'm
Beat
sure there
subscription?
was.
with like where you get to the guy just got intimidated into buying like
There's gotta be.
7,000 magazines.
Yeah, but like so yeah, I mean instead of going around and trying to sell magazine subscriptions which would benefit some charity or whatever my school,
Yeah.
like I sold doors like through a catalog of this door maker, a local door maker.
Wait,
goodness.
you
in
were a
Salt Lake City, Utah.
child door-to-door
It was I wasn't a
salesman.
child. I was like 15. It was my first job.
child.
you know?
Underage.
Absolutely.
In the eyes of the law, you're a child.
How did you do?
Oh, I don't think I sold a door.
Sir, you look like
Everyone has doors for the most part. Like they don't need a door.
look
Whose
like a-
idea at the school was this?
It was.
Did they get
I
fired?
Don't even know. It
Just-
was.
you knock on the
hilarious,
door
though.
with sledgehammer. Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
You might need
I
a new
noticed
one.
your door has a problem.
with your door. I'm selling new ones.
Yeah.
The shark is here to sell you a new door.
It was kind of an amazing
Sir,
story.
you look like a screen
In
door
my
kind
life.
of a man. Am I right? Screen door?
Can I interest you in one of these? It's pristine condition, keeps all of the bugs
What
out.
did the doors you were selling look like? Were there
No, they're
different kinds?
What all doors look like?
No,
man? It had
no,
handles.
There
you
are
know?
like
There's screen doors?
French doors.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got glass
Solid
doors.
oak wood doors?
There were like tiers, like it was a catalog, so that you could have your cheap / simple doors that didn't have like wooden sort of engravings and panes and like
What
all
was
the
your
sort of
pitch?
design.
What was your pitch?
I didn't have a pitch. I was 15, man. I was just
Hi,
like,
my
hey.
name's Sean. I'm selling doors.
Okay, wait. Hang
I
on.
don't even think I really.
Jump in again.
Yeah.
Dramatic reenactments.
You think you might
Yeah.
want a
My-
door?
I get ding dong. My door rings. I open the door and little baby Sean Finnegan's there. Oh,
Yeah.
hello, little boy.
Hello, sir.
Yo,
I'm
that-
from Wasatch Elementary. I'm selling doors. I was wondering, have you had any problems with your door lately? Might you consider looking at this magazine for a local door maker?
I mean, I'll take.
That's basically
I'll take
it.
the magazine, but this door is in great shape.
Well, I don't know, sir. You don't know a lot about doors like I do.
So I've been in the
I'm
door
a-
business for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've been opening doors since you were in diapers.
So
lot
were you
of-
just like, here's the magazine? They were like, yeah. Okay,
no, I mean,
go
you're not
away.
supposed to give them the magazine.
Well, they look at it.
Yeah.
And they're nice, and they're like, okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
And
I
then you
mean-
leave.
Yeah, you hope for like, sign up here and we'll send you
Yeah.
like more information type thing.
Did you get signatures?
I mean, I remember getting
wanna
a few
know
people
if
just to be
anything
nice.
at all came of this.
I don't think I ever sold a door,
Did
but
you
I
get
definitely,
signatures?
I got signatures and
Okay.
like addresses. Remember, again, when
You're
you sign up
selling
for a
doors,
magazine
not signing a
subscription.
petition.
I wouldn't want anything to happen to your front door. But, maybe if you just want to pick out a nice one here.
You're like the equivalent
Yeah.
of like a little kid, like locksmith.
Hey.
But you might want to update your locks.
Yeah.
Sean signed them up for spam. That's what he did, basically.
Point is,
Yeah.
in Utah, there's not a lot of great jobs for kids, or at least there wasn't when I was a kid. So, and that's where I grew up. Side
Jesus.
note, history, Sean Finnegan's life right there.
So I'm sitting at my
That's a
dumb
great
job
story.
reading
Yeah.
video game magazines.
Yeah.
An issue of OXM, and I'm reading your review of Modern Warfare.
Oh,
And this
that's
was
right. I
like-
did that review.
and I was
that.
like-
I gave that. That was one of the easiest 10s I've given in my
kidding.
life.
And I'm reading it, and I'm like, I knew the beta was happening a couple weeks earlier, and I was like, it seems fine. Like, I don't know, I haven't played Call of Duty in a while. 2 was fun, 3 was kind of bad. Whatever, I don't really care. Oh my god, where is this 10 coming from? What is it? And I read the whole thing. I was like, yep, I need this game in my life immediately. Went out that day, and I think I bought that and the orange box together. That was a
goodbye.
good day.
Goodbye.
Oh, man.
That's a good day for sure.
The Orange Box was so good, I rebought it on Xbox 360 when I had already had all those games and played them so much on
Is that
PC.
game backward compatible? Can I play Half-Life 2 on my Xbox One?
Not yet. I don't believe it was
What
on
a
the list
joke.
just yet.
You're talking about remakes that we all hate but still want in certain cases.
Yeah.
A Half-Life 2, like on a brand new rendition of the Source engine on
Source
Xbox
2
One
Half-Life
would be
2?
awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well, how
Fans
about,
did that, right?
Black Mesa finally
Mesa
came
for
out.
Halo 1,
Let's
yeah.
port that over to the consoles.
Yeah.
It'd
Be
be a
great.
good time.
Black
Taking
Mesa's
a-
great.
taking the
Halo.
run.
I mean Halo. Half-Life is really great in general.
All right.
You're digging myself a hole recently.
Strangest topic of my life.
Sean
Let's
had a
talk
battle in front of him to get those doors out the door.
It was. The front door.
I'm walking off the show.
Battle front door.
Let's talk a little more Star Wars Battlefront. They detailed their $50 season pass. Podcast
Hard
Unlocked,
pass.
home of the season pass haters. But turns out there might be $50 worth of stuff in here, guys.
Yeah. You got
love
some
that.
sick-
Dexter with a no.
Some sick
Yeah.
emotes.
Yeah.
I hard passed. You cannot convince me for any amount of content that
It's a full
$50
retail release.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
talk to me,
Exactly. Here's the thing, and I totally agree. I think I have two conflicting perspectives about this. Season pass is $50. If you're gonna buy it, you get a lot of stuff. Like you get functionally more than is in the game now. 4 new game modes, which I disagree that Battlefront needs it all. It's already kind of bloated with game modes, but maybe they'll be great. 16 new multiplayer maps.
16?
That's 3 more maps
That's
than the
a
game
lot.
launched with.
But they say nothing of new planets, so I'm guessing those are not new planets.
I think they might be keeping that vague. I would imagine
So
they'll have like
4 new maps on each planet, or we got some new planets in here.
I hope there's new planets. I hope they're just saying new maps. And surprise, one of them is Bespin, and another one is whatever.
One of them is 0G.
What?
Oof.
It's a lot of content.
20 new pieces of galactic tech, including weapons, vehicles, and star cars for Rebels and Imperials. So obviously you're going to get new guns and new
Yeah.
ways to get around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see a lot of the stuff we had in the original Battlefront, like a skiff on Tatooine or the land speeder, or
For sure.
stuff of that ilk. You'll also receive 2-week early access to each of the 4 expansion packs. So
So
4
it's divided
expansion-
into 4 content
probably
drops.
4 maps per expansion pack.
Yeah.
Plus, we're getting Jakku for free. So all told, there will be 30 maps in this game.
Wow.
Wow. That is a lot. But it's 30 maps for what turns out to be $110.
Right. So this now becomes my issue. Is Battlefront a $110 game? Because if you're playing Battlefront and you don't buy the season pass, suddenly there are 16 maps and 4 modes you can't access.
If the season pass is $50, my guess is that if you don't buy the season pass, each of the 4 quote unquote expansion packs will be $15, making it $60. That's just my own speculation.
Yeah,
They
of
haven't
course.
announced pricing, but that would
Seems
seem
about
like
right.
$15 or buy the season pass and you get a $10 break.
Also, there's new heroes. We forgot to mention that. There are new heroes.
There are. I'll have to spend more than 10 minutes
Chewie.
with Star Wars to make that decision.
But that's
yeah.
so Halo and Rainbow Six, among others, those are the 2 most prominent new titles that come to mind. They have content that you can buy, specifically more so Rainbow Six than Halo, but neither of those games is charging for maps because they don't want to split their player base. They are giving everyone the maps. But Battlefront, Mitch, is a game we expect to sell millions upon millions of copies. You want to be able to play it with your friends, but it would seem that by charging for maps here, there is going to be a galaxy-sized just
divide.
Chasm
Yeah.
that splits the player base here as these season pass content packs start to roll out.
I'm confident in EA's ability to sell the 13 million copies of this game that it expects to. I'm not confident that the Battlefront Season Pass will do as well as Battlefield Premium.
13 million, is that a projection?
Yeah, and that's up
They
from,
raised it.
Yeah, it's up from 9. That was
Wow.
their last prediction, was 9.
I actually think they might be. I would actually take the
think that's
over on that. I'd
conservative?
take the over on it.
15.
Yeah, on the 13, I would take the over.
Oh,
This
okay.
isn't releasing on last gen, right?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this will.
That's a lot for just PS4 and
And that's the
Xbox
thing
One,
is
right?
like, imagine a world where Battlefront is not $110 for everything, where this game comes out now in November and it launches with these 13 maps, and some people think it's a little light, some people are totally happy playing with the modes that are there, the modes and maps that are there, and then in January, a massive map pack drops with, you know, whatever, 4 maps, 2 modes, new heroes. Okay, cool, that's really exciting. That keeps people coming back. March rolls around, you get a Force Awakens pack with Kylo Ren and Finn and Jakku or whatever other Takodana, other Force Awakens stuff, you know, and then you can start rolling in Rogue One things and other classic trilogy stuff. Maybe you get like a original trilogy version of Naboo like we're seeing in the comics to kind of bring prequel stuff in. There are lots of opportunities to keep people who are excited about Star Wars playing Star Wars.
Totally.
And what they're doing is fracturing the community because of $50. And $50 is obviously not a small ask.
No. That's
In terms of DLC
that's
goes.
the most expensive season pass I'm aware of.
Yeah, and I think there have been other $50 season passes.
Call of Duty as
but
well,
yeah.
I believe, too.
So I think that this, if you're gonna like, as someone who is going to buy the season pass, super stoked. This is a lot of content. Kind of bummed out that Battlefront is $110 though, for me to keep playing all of the content. And I think that-
Do we know when the first one piece is dropping?
No, we just know that Jakku is December 8th, and that does not count as part of this.
Like,
but
think about other games that you've spent that much money on, and there are so few of them, right? Like, you've probably spent
Destiny comes
a
out.
couple
Yeah,
hundred
Destiny,
bucks on
Dota
like
2.
Dota, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but how many
Couple
hours
hundred.
deep are you into into Destiny, right?
Destini's a different kind of game, though.
Totally.
You know,
Is it?
it's
but
an
at
MMO.
the end of the day,
All time is
does that
equal.
matter?
Yeah,
That's
it
sort
doesn't
of
matter.
that's
All
irrelevant.
time
it's
is
about
equal.
engagement. It's about how often this game keeps you coming back. It's about the things it does to encourage you
Yeah.
to play again and again.
So
and
this
again.
is more comparable to like a Halo, you know, not so much a Destiny where it's an MMO, the world's changing,
Yeah,
et
yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So I am concerned about, you know, player base fracturing or separating, you know, and you're going to get that wall. There's going to be people like, I'm not paying the money, and they'll just leave forever.
And how awful is it going to be if you're like, I want to play like on the new Jakku map from the second expansion as Kylo Ren, but nobody's queuing in. Nobody is playing this right now.
Another tactic Destiny used
They're
is
counting on having a big enough player base to have that not be
Sure.
a problem.
Destiny had a lot of hype, and if you bought the collector's edition of Year One, you actually got the first 2 pieces of DLC. So that was a good way to keep players used to the DLC
Yeah,
mechanic
right.
and what it works like. But they did leave a lot of people in the dust. There's a lot of Year One players that got totally boned, like just got locked out of everything with the first DLC pack.
Yep.
You know, Star Wars might be making that mistake.
I wonder if we'll see a potential, like on May the 4th, if we'll see a sale on the season pass,
or
you know.
like another one at Celebration next year in July.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we shall see, but this is I was about ready to segue this into a whole conversation about should game prices go up next generation, but I'm going to save that for another
Oh,
show
God.
because I think that's
a long one.
We'd be here for another half an hour.
Yeah.
I wanted to close by talking about EA Sports and their cover curses.
So I'm not aware. I don't really follow or sports in games.
Don't ever be on the cover of any EA game.
So
Then
traditionally, yeah.
So that was going to
Yeah.
be my
No,
question.
it's like every guy who's ever
besides
been
now,
on the cover of Madden has been like horrendously
Or
injured
just
that year.
Usually
Okay.
injury, sometimes ineffectiveness, but more often than not, it's like a catastrophic injury that
God.
befalls him.
like a career-ending ACL tear or something.
Guess who was
Jeez.
recently on a cover? Let's see if Sean can get it without even looking.
Well, I mean,
sports.
No, I've already read
that.
that. Plus, like, I saw the article on IGN. I know the topic, but like, what I was gonna ask is like, who else would I know where this has happened, type thing. But whatever, right?
Well,
Favre.
there have been a lot of people
Yeah.
over the years, and then even like NBA.
Was Derrick Rose on the cover of a?
I think he has been at some point, but like Kevin Durant had missed a lot of time last year. He'd been on the cover of NBA Elite or whatever. No, it's back to Live. But yeah, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
For those of you probably heard about this, regardless of whether or not you are a sports fan.
This was like a pop culture event.
She was. Yeah. She is the number one ranked. Well, she's the number one ranked UFC fighter in the world. She'd been undefeated in her career, and most of her fights literally lasted less than 30 seconds.
Rousey is
30 seconds.
Is that true? Most of her fights.
The opponent only one. I saw the statistic online. Prior to her loss this past weekend, only one other fight of hers had even lasted past the first round.
Wow!
Like
she was like unequivocally the most dominant fighter for like the
Rousey
last
is
3 years,
brutal.
or 4 or 5 years.
her
her
patented move is called an arm bar, and she basically would kind of rush you, get you on the ground, and then have your arm such that she'd be about to snap your arm in half.
Unless you submit.
You submit. So she was defeated over the weekend by Holly Holm. After,
do you think she was just overconfident? Or do you think
mean,
Holly
no,
was
she
just
got-
ready?
Said
Did you
Holly
see
Holm
the
is
fight?
ready.
Holly Holm,
Did you
yeah.
watch
The
not
kick-
just the kick, but she just got
well, the preparation
got
and the
wrecked.
strategy.
she got outboxed. Like Holly
the
Holm,
strategy was incredible.
Yeah, like Ronda Rousey probably is the better overall fighter, but
Not
Holly,
that day.
Yeah, not that day. But Holly Holm came into that with one objective: to outbox her and to not get on the ground, and that's exactly what she did. Like Ronda Rousey is stronger on the ground than anyone out there.
Yeah, so
And
don't go there. Just
don't let her
box.
get you on the ground. Play to her strengths, which is Ronda Rousey's not a great striker, and Holly Holm is. So she just punched her in the head one too many times and
then,
got her
the kick
got
to
her
the
off
head.
balance, and that was
finished
it.
off.
well, like the first few punches stunned her, got her out of her game, and then the rest was downhill from there. I think Ronda Rousey lost it really early in the fight, actually.
And this happens in sports, right? Like obviously the Yankees are probably the best ball club in the MLB.
well, in tradition, historically,
right.
yes.
Yeah. But they still
don't,
lose.
They don't win every game.
No.
Look at
So-
the Lakers right now.
Yeah, and that's what, like
They're the
it's-
worst team in the
It's
NBA.
so irritating to me to see like all these like armchair analysts leaning back and go like, "Well, Rousey's not that good." Shut up.
What?
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
she is. You idiot.
Yeah.
I have to actually get to the point of the story as it pertains to video games because everybody's like, "What are you guys
Yeah.
doing
No,
right
it's
now?"
Welcome to the MMA podcast.
So yeah, just days before Rousey's fight with Holly Holm, she'd been named the cover athlete for EA Sports UFC 2, which was announced last week. And honestly, I made an executive decision to not cover it on this show because wasn't a huge game. None of us really play it, but this story merited discussion because she was put on the cover. And then, of course,
Instantly lost.
Just it's obviously not the reason she lost, but it's fun to invoke the EA Sports cover curse.
Yep.
Peter Moore, our friend of the show, had to take to Twitter and said, "All of us at EA understand, celebrate, and embrace the unpredictability of sports. That's why as fans we all watch and play. Hashtag it's in the game and that was him." Reaffirming that no, we're not going to take her off the cover
boys.
because she lost once in her literally an entire life. So I just thought that was a interesting, video game twist on what was a huge pop culture moment.
Pretty good.
All right, shall we talk about what we can spend our money on?
Let's do it.
Mitch Dyer,
Yeah. I'm just gonna write down the time code here real quick.
Please do.
So we can break out these videos.
the big release this week. You may have
obviously-
heard of it.
Yeah, Battlefront. Give that game an 8.0 on IGN. Star Wars Battlefront's out at retail, $60 or $110 depending on your preference. On digital, you've got the Crew Wild Run for $40, which I did not realize was coming out until
It's
this
got
moment.
monster trucks and weather, like rain and stuff in it. There's a John Ryan and I Let's Play on IGN
Okay,
if you're
cool.
curious to see it.
Deadpool's on Xbox One now for $50, which
That's a port up of the 360 game.
I don't care how good the port is. It's probably too late for that game to be $50. But with the movie coming, I'm sure they're just like thirsty.
Frothing at the mouth.
Deadpool was okay.
Free money.
Game of Thrones episode 6, The Ice Dragon, is $5. That's the season 1 finale.
Another game on my pile.
Yeah.
Even though it's only a one-night game.
I really wanted to get to this before we recorded it Overclocked because I don't want Dan to spoil it, but I think that might be too late. And Resident Evil Revelations 2 Deluxe Edition is $22.50 for gold members. If that's
nice little sale there. I think it's $30 if you're not a gold member.
Don't forget, November's games with gold are Numa Breath of Life all month long and Night Squad until December 15th.
Nice.
As of now, right?
Yeah, we're past the 15th.
We are. So Night Squad is available. I saw it on the dashboard. And then on Xbox 360, you missed your chance for Dirt 3, but Dungeon Siege 3 is now free for Xbox 360 until the 30th.
Dungeon crawling action RPG Diablo style game that I reviewed that for OXM. I really like that game. It's not like amazeballs like Diablo 3 is, but it's a free, really solid dungeon crawler.
Speaking of Diablo, not really related to the Xbox marketplace, but StarCraft also released to a lot of fanfare that we all kind of missed out on. 1 million copies in the first 24 hours, which is...
That's insane.
For a game that we all kind of perceived, a game that we all know the competitive scene to be dying in, that's a lot of copies. I've been playing it.
StarCraft, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing it. It's really, really great. So if you're into that, check it out.
StarCraft is heck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll come right back. Give away a copy of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for Xbox One right after this. All right, let's finish strong with a little Unlock Block trivia. Our winner this week, Mike Amari from West Hempstead, New York. He's won himself a copy of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for Xbox One, courtesy of Jonathan McKenzie, longtime fan of the show, who kindly donated his digital code for the game when he bought the Tomb Raider bundle. Gentlemen, I happen to know this one, and you'll know why in a second. Which of the following games did the iconic DeLorean first make an appearance on an Xbox console? So DeLorean's first appearance on an Xbox, go ahead, was it in Forza Motorsport 2, Reckless, the Yakuza missions, Burnout Paradise, or Telltale Games Back to the Future? Now I'm going to help you guys a little bit here. I will say...
Whoa, no. Mitch has the right to... I already wrote down my
I'm just going to say...
I have a feeling that your question,
Destin.
your hint is going to be something I want to ask, which is this the official DeLorean?
That's exactly what I was going to say. No, it doesn't have to be a literal licensed DeLorean, but the clearly, obviously DeLorean, whether it's in specific name or not.
So that's a big hint. It wasn't called the
Well,
DeLorean.
but I'm just saying, I'm just opening it up.
Then it becomes like...
Because
they're different questions. It's
I get that.
2 of these games had a real DeLorean, and 2 of them had a DeLorean that wasn't called a DeLorean. So all these answers are eligible, I'll tell you that much. So Shark, I want to go to you first.
I chose A, Forza Motorsport 2,
okay,
which is just a shot in the dark for me because I have no idea.
Yeah, that's where I went to because it's the earliest one.
I don't play racing games or car games really.
And I'm going with Forza.
Yeah,
Destin.
I chose it because it was old.
Oh, man, this is really going to suck if I'm wrong, but I went different. I said Reckless, the Yakuza missions.
I instantly regretted writing A because Reckless is older.
Because that was Xbox. And, well, I think Forza 2 was also Xbox, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's close.
But Reckless came out.
I had it down to 50.
Reckless was a launch game.
It's either Forza or Reckless.
It wasn't a launch game.
It was very nearly, wasn't it?
All right. So we have Reckless and then 2 Forza 2s. Mm-hmm. Mitch at 18 points for the year, Destin at 17, Shark at 6, Marty with 13. He is unavailable due to some appointments today. So one of you is correct, and which therefore, since 2 of you said the same thing, Destin, you've tied it up! You've tied it up!
I panicked. I panicked, so now regret.
I knew I had a chance at this one.
So it was Reckless. It was the cover car. It was the car on the cover of the game.
Really?
Yes.
The thing was, you could smash through everything.
And what I can tell you without even having to look here, because this DeLorean knowledge just exists in my DeLorean-obsessed brain, the DeLorean did not appear in Forza Motorsport until Forza Motorsport 4.
Ooh, that's deep.
Oh.
So
it wasn't into it all?
Nope. Wasn't into it all.
All right. I have a gap of knowledge with Forza because I played Project Gotham.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Mike Amari, great job on that question.
Oh, it is a DeLorean. Look at that.
And see, show the guys.
Oh, it was like a couple months after launch.
Yeah. So good stuff.
I remember.
No, I remember.
I remember. I got it right.
And if you would like to win something, I have to see what I've got in the prize pile this week. Please send your Xbox-related trivia question. Include 4 multiple-choice answers. Please note the correct one. And send all that where, Mitch?
Unlocked at IGN.com.
Finally, I'd like to respectfully ask our wonderful audience, please stop sending me the which celebrity unveiled the Xbox with Bill Gates question.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Let's move on.
I've probably it must be
Rock?
some like
Wow.
if you Google like Xbox trivia, that must be the first thing that comes up because I swear I get that question 3 to 5 times a week.
Also, we did that question.
We've
on
done
the
that
show.
question before, so you're not going to get picked if you send that in.
If you send that question in, you have to give us your Tomb Raider codes.
Anyway, good stuff from Mike Amari out of West Hempstead, New York, and great job, Destin, for tying it up.
Yeah.
I want nothing more. I really hope you guys are tied in about 3 weeks so that on the last show,
last episode of the
there's like
winter.
a trivia off.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say we have to have more than one question. Like,
Oh,
we
yeah,
need, like,
it'll
a
be like-
5-question round
Yeah.
overtime.
we have a
thing.
buzzer.
Something like that.
Like you guys
Might
have to
do
buzz
it.
in. I think
Do
that
it in
would
the
be cool.
studio. Have like a whole produce thing.
So our bosses are like, "What are you guys? What is
It's
this?"
important. It's worth it. It'll,
Yeah.
it'll do well.
Yeah, it
PPH
got like
will be great.
4 views. No one cared.
We'll just call the headline Skyrim, Fallout, Star Wars. And it'll be all worth it.
That'll be all the trivia questions.
GTA
6 billion.
5.
We're not. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not being misleading.
Free iPad.
All right, let's get some plugs in before we hit the road. We appreciate those of you that stick around for the plugs because sometimes weird things happen during the plugs.
Totally.
It is true.
Also, sometimes we recommend cool content that you should look at.
That's true. I'll start this week. I usually go last. I'll just change it up a little. You can follow me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. I want to wish, even though he'll never in a million years hear this, I want to wish Bill Watterson a happy 30th anniversary of the first Calvin and Hobbes today.
Wow.
On this date 30 years ago, November 18th.
Hobbs got a tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, caught in a tuna trap.
Yep.
Yeah, and the rest was history. He and Elon Musk are my 2 white whale interviews that I'd genuinely rather interview Bill Watterson and Elon Musk than the president of the United States because I would get more I would find it more interesting.
I think
That's it. Obama's interview on WTF was awesome.
It's
He would
not
be a
it's not a
great
knock. I'm
interview.
saying any president.
Yeah, of
not
course.
just saying
Obama follows Goldfarb. We should have him reach out and be like,
Obama
I
follows
think
me.
Obama follows
He follows
me.
me.
Maybe
What?
we can-
Even a citizen
Follows
of his
everybody.
country.
oh my God.
That's because he's keeping an eye on you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna boot you out of here
Yeah.
the moment you slip up. But
So
anyway,
I think you might get Elon someday.
I agree.
There's a-
Watterson,
there's
though,
a-
he's just like, no.
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Watterson's the bigger white whale of the 2
Yeah.
in the figurative,
The whiter whale.
figurative sense.
The whiter
yeah.
whale.
Elon, there's at least a sort of a kind of outside chance of it
Yeah.
maybe could happen someday. Probably not, but yeah. Anyway, 30 years of Calvin and Hobbes.
Nice. What a
Brilliant
good
stuff.
book.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. I will have the Xbox One Elite console review going up very shortly, possibly by the time you're even listening to this. And also that going up tomorrow, Thursday, so again, maybe by the time you're already hearing this, my opinion piece, it's both a written and there's also me on video, giving it to you in video form. My opinion piece on that's titled First-Person Shooter Campaigns Are Dying and That's Awful. So hear my thoughts on that if you're so curious. I think that's all I've got. Sean?
Nice.
Check out this Star Wars Our Favorite Scenes conversation that me and Mitch did the other day, where me and Mitch, 2 of the many Star Wars fans that are at IGN, recounted some of our favorite scenes in the franchise.
We open up with a hot prequel pick.
That's
no
right.
spoilers.
Yeah,
but
no spoilers.
watch
Check
to
out the
find
video.
out.
Follow me on Twitter at I'm Finnegan. Add me up on Xbox Live, Finnegan space II. Or
And
on
he needs some nice comments on Twitter. Say something nice to Sean Finnegan on Twitter this week. That's
His
my
hair
that's
looks
my
good today.
ask of you.
That's my
Thanks.
nice comment.
I figured I needed a haircut, but I
Yeah.
guess not.
You've got the wave going.
Trying.
It's all shaped nicely
I
today.
didn't comb it today. I just with the hands.
Well done.
So you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow me on Twitter at I'm Finnegan. Add me on Xbox Live, Finnegan space II. I'm always looking for people to play Destiny and Halo with.
Nice.
Those are the games I'm really splitting my time with right now, and Fallout obviously. But you can't play that with me because it's single player. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Check that out. Oh, and one other thing real quick. I wanted to thank all of you guys, you listeners who came out to IGN House Party.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And checked out Fireteam Chat and Game Scoop. I
you
met
guys
a couple
did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah. Ryan was there, although he was not part of the show. He was still there meeting
Lurking
everyone.
in the shadows.
Cheerleading.
Yeah. But a couple of you guys drove up from San Diego, said you
Nice.
listened to Unlocked, so thank you for
That's
making
awesome.
the trip and enjoyed talking to you guys. Shout out to you guys. And then, of course, me and Destin are on Fireteam Chat every week, so also check that out.
Yeah, it was great visiting with everyone.
Destin, throw it to you on that note.
Okay, so I'm still doing a lot of Fallout 4 stuff. I actually am doing this kind of goofy thing where we spawn 2 characters in a ring we built in Fallout 4, and we have them fight. It's called Fallout 4 Face Off. Episode 1 was a behemoth versus 3 sentry bots, and
How did you not call this Face Off? Just like the
it's
movie.
Fallout Face Off.
Oh, Fallout Face Off.
Yeah.
I guess that's okay.
All right. Anyway, so we have these people fight. There's 2 episodes
Wasteland
now, and there's home
Warriors.
team and away team. Home team is the behemoth. Away team is the sentry bots in episode 1. And I won't spoil it for episode 2 because home team returns.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Let's
fights the
go,
next
Behemoth.
person. Yeah.
I'm voting the Sentry Bots. I
Anyway.
hope they go all the way to the top.
Response has been very positive on the show. It's just a pretty simple thing we put together, but
love that.
people are loving it.
Power of the
Yeah.
PC version, right?
seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Mitch Dyer.
At Mitchy D on Twitter. My Star Wars Battlefront review is live. You can go read that. It's got a bunch of awesome videos in it because every Battlefront video we have on IGN right now is incredible. That game is just so fun to watch.
It is.
We have like all the alien head most of the like very high level characters. So like the Twi'lek, the Scout Trooper, the Shadow Trooper, the Zabrak, all those characters that take forever to unlock. If you want to see them in action, we have a montage of that. We have a graphics comparison that is awesome. It's Battlefront versus Battlefront 2004 versus
It's
2015.
really cool.
So the original Xbox version?
Yeah, so I just wanted to see like how technology had evolved over 11 years. Shocking twist, it has. So that's live on IGN. You can catch me on IGN Overclocked, which is our PC podcast. I'm on Podcast Beyond this week if you want to listen to us talk about more Battlefront.
You're the new Marty. You're on every show.
Yeah, the whole show this week on Beyond is just Star Wars. So check that out if that's your thing. I wrote 9 best stealth missions in video games. That's a feature live on IGN now, written only. I'm done.
You're done.
I think I'm ready for a break. And
Yeah,
by break,
and,
I mean game of the
we
year.
all
Treat
are.
yourself to a holiday gift with IGN Prime. Go to IGN.com/Prime. Give us your $30. We'll give you an ad-free experience on IGN desktop and IGN videos for an entire year, as well as occasional beta access and occasional free game giveaways as well. So we would love it if you would do that. Thanks to everybody for listening. Most of you get the show on iTunes, but we're also we got the video versions on IGN.com, IGN's YouTube, and our Xbox One app as well. So be sure to check us out wherever you want. As long as you're checking us out, we do appreciate it. And we'll see everybody back for the real palindrome next week, 222.
Nice.
Good stuff. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.